Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. I hope this is working now. All right, cool. Tonight, or this afternoon, we have a fantastic race for you between Pizza, eykir, Poidrac, and Error. With me, I am, I'm joined by Tirsu and our tracker, Mier.
How's it going, Couch?
Well, after that little microphone issue, we're doing all right.
We've all had it, don't worry. But yeah, it's going to be a really good race, and the third of the day. It's been a long and good day for Free Enterprise.
Yeah, after watching a lot of this season so far, knowing the results of these races, this should be really close between all of these.
Yes, it's going to be it's going to be very... Ooh, a double start with the hook right at the beginning.
So, what's your take on this start here with 2 Tellas and a hook seed?
You're probably going to want to do a little bit of extra looting early just to get something to get you through some of these early bosses and get through ordeals, power up that Tella. And you're probably going to want to go to Hobbs a little bit earlier just to get hopefully get a little bit of damage. Tella starting out is not very strong. And we immediately see Poidrac going straight to Damsian while everyone else is going ahead to loot Baron first.
I like Poidrac's play. It's quite a few chest checks, and we also get that hovercraft that we could go snag a character really quick, especially with Tella having exit. That makes a quick grab.
This is very true. Tella, one of the only mages that starts with exit guaranteed, so that is always a nice boon to a Tella start. And Poidrac finds a hero in robe, so a Rosa, Rydia, or Porum would actually be a nice addition. Equip them with a bow or a good whip for Rydia, and you've got some solid DPS early.
And we see exits, and it looks like Kamikazes in the Baron item shop, which, I mean, having 2 Tellas really doesn't make much of an option of buying exits.
Yeah, 2 Tellas, you don't really need exits, but those Kamikazes could be pretty useful, especially if you run into like the Plague fight or something like that. Pizza is heading into Mist, gonna loot a little bit more, gets a Grimoire, which is a nice kind of gamble you could use on various bosses, try to get some extra damage in there quickly.
Absolutely. It looks like Mist is pretty stacked gear-wise with a Lilith Rod as well.
And a black belt and Dragoon helm, so lots of good stuff in there, and a samurai armor.
And we see Silkwebs, Cure 3s, and Sirens in the Damsian water, not Damsian.
Eblon Cave.
Eblon, thank you. Yes, Eblon Cave.
That is a very stacked Eblon Cave. Cure 3 is amazing to have. It's even better early. Sirens, if you have to do some grinding, that's always nice to have. And then Silkwebs. Some bosses, just having a Silkweb is nice.
I mean, slow is very nice to have as an option in these in a lot of these boss fights, to be honest.
It really is. We also see that there's a Bedward today, so don't know if our runners are going to be happy to see a Sand Ruby for Edward.
And see a Rosa, definitely guarded by the Baron guards as well. That's could be pretty free Rubicon spot.
That also could be the Kaipo guards as well, so we won't fully know, but either way, a pretty easy and potentially free boss on the Ruby spot. And we see someone in Direwolf saying a Ruby or a Hook could be free. We don't know what's at that King Queen Eblon, so you could still run into like Mom Bomb or Evil Wall and have a rough time with that. Looks like someone found Wyvern in the waterfall cave.
Two Tellas and a Rosa is actually a really good start here, especially having a heroine robe for Rosa. That's going to free up some of the early bosses for some nice quick kills instead of just, you know, casting some weak spells with Tella or smacking away with the Rodder.
Yeah, it certainly does. Hero and Rogue Rosa, it's going to be able to put out some damage, especially once you find a good bow for her. We also see Error is making that early dive into Eblon along with Pizza, both looking for that free character, also checking the shop.
Yeah, I really don't blame him in the situation. Two Tellas can only really kind of carry you so far.
Especially until you get through Ordeals. Without Ordeals, Tella is kind of a weak character. Poidrac did find a Sorcerer Robe in the Antlion Cave. Now that's a really good piece of gear for Tella, at least to boost his magic stats and also give him some decent defense for this early game. Eykir is now going to go activate his own hovercraft, probably go try to get that Rosa as well.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the play to be made with the way this seed is starting off.
Ooh, that's Val down in Antlion Cave.
Rosa shouldn't have too much of a issue with this fight. I believe her evade's going to be relatively low anyway.
Yeah, it's a good place for Val. She's not too terribly difficult here. You still have to contend with that weak spell, but Rosa with the Hero and Robe and the aim command shouldn't have too much trouble getting through this.
And having Tella there to combat that weak with some Cure 2 makes it a nice, easy, and relatively quick fight.
Rosa doing around 100 damage, so we'll need 10 shots to take out this Val. And it looks like Eykir is making the climb up of Hobbs. Probably wants to get that character right away. And we see a Sid there, guarded by CPU.
This actually may not be too bad of a fight. Maybe a little on the slow side, but I don't see it taking too long. And then having that Sid is going to be pretty beneficial.
Yeah, Sid is a very good character for the early game. Comes at a reasonable level, good HP, and does respectable damage, especially if you can find a good axe or hammer for him. And then you can also equip a bow and arrow onto him and back row glitch him. Error making the same play up Hobbs, but does have that Rosa. But he is using that aim command in the middle slot, so what happens there is it overflows and you actually are not getting the accuracy bonus you would want from the aim command.
I'm liking a lot of this gear that Pizza's picking up here in these chests. He's found an Ogre Axe, a Poison Axe, some Crystal Gloves. That's going to help with gold. And he hasn't found the Trap Chest yet, so I really like that play, as now that we know Sid is on top of Hobbs, that's going to give Sid a really, really good weapon to make the CPU fight even easier, whereas Poidrac did not loot on the way out.
No, being able to loot there, get some pretty decent gear, not a bad play at all. We see Error has finished up his CPU fight, and it looked like Eykir probably took a wipe to it. And Poidrac is through that Val fight, gets the Luca key from her.
Eykir getting a very unfortunate roll with a D-missed there off that Grimoire.
That's the thing with the Grimoire. It's a nice item, can pull out any summon in the game, but sometimes you just don't get anything good. Still manages to get through the CPU, so doesn't hurt him too much. Pizza now on Hobbs as well, gonna grab that Sid. Does have that Rosa, so we'll have a nice time with the CPU fight.
Yeah, and the upgraded weapons for Sid as well is definitely advantageous.
He's using a Kamikaze with Sid, and I actually kind of like this. Sid, with that over 700 HP, almost 800, that's going to be solid damage right onto CPU. And then uses a Stardust. This should take it out very, very quickly.
That was a pretty outstanding fight by Pizza there.
Poidrac now on his CPU fight. Hasn't done the looting of hasn't done as much looting as everyone else, but has definitely made some solid progress. So shouldn't have any trouble with CPU.
Error making sure to back row glitch Sid there so he can take some swings from the back row and stay a little safe.
Makes perfect sense. That'll make sure that your tank is able to tank and still be able to put out some solid DPS, especially in this early game. And we see Eykir and Error now down in Antlion. Error about to run into that Val fight, but again, with the gear he has on Sid and that Rosa, will be a pretty easy fight.
Oh yeah, definitely. I see no issues with Val from any of these runners, even with the current setup that they.
And Error is making use of the vampire item to quickly get through that Val. Two of them, and Val is dead. And Poidrac is now heading into Fabul.
I kind of like Fabul. It's advantageous as only having 2 shops versus 3 having the armor and weapon shop combined to 1, which does make for a nice, quick, easy check if you're looking for anything to kind of get a small boost up.
Fabul's nice. Again, later on, it has 2 more key item checks, a key item check, and like you said, only 2 shops compared to 3. Personally, I don't check weapon shops, but sometimes, you could be looking for some good arrows or a good bow, or even just a decent staff. Being able to make 1 check instead of 2 is always a nice advantage. Poidrac now into the Fabul fight while Pizza and Eykir are taking on that Val. And we have Mega Sisters at Fabul.
Shouldn't be too bad of a fight, especially with the way this team is set up currently. Rosa having some pretty solid gear, and then Pizza, when they get there, will have a rune axe to make a quick work of that.
This is very true. Mega Sister's not one of the more difficult fights and is a mage type enemy, so things like that rune axe is going to do a lot of damage. If you happen to find mute arrows, that would be really good as well.
I believe there was a mute dagger in Damsian in bottom 6 chests.
I don't think anyone on this party can equip mute daggers, though.
That's right, now that I think about it.
It would make sense if Sid could equip it, though. He is an engineer.
I mean, it also is just kind of a dagger, but...
Either way, Error finishes up that Mega Sisters fight very quickly, making good use of that vampire item.
The Fagul armor / weapon shop didn't have too much in it. The only thing I could see them buying there would be a boomerang if we happen to come across Edge.
And the king has an Excalibur, so finding a Cecil, he would be online very, very quickly with that. And Pizza, that Rune Axe makes very quick work of the Magus Sisters. Poidrac right behind him. And eykir now entering that Magus Sister fight.
eykir missing that Rosa, though. Maybe a little bit slower of a fight overall, but still should be relatively have no issue.
Certainly makes sense. eykir probably hoping not to have to go into the Eblon Cave. Just trying to make use of what he's got. You see that Sid with the bow and arrow, I'm not sure which one he has equipped, takes out Cindy very, very easily. And it looks like Error is now heading into Troya, probably going to do some looting and some shopping here.
Sid unfortunately getting charmed on eykir's side, and now is starting to target Tella.
Does hit himself, so knocks him out of that confusion. Poidrac picks up those hourglass ones in the Fagul item shop, so that'll be really good for some of those bosses, especially knowing that the Kaipo or Baron Guards is at that ruby spot. And Error is the first of our runners to make the attempt at ordeals.
We got both Poidrac and Pizza in Silvera, while Pizza checks the weapon shop. Doesn't find really anything, but the item shop pulling Hourglass 3s and Ether 2s. Not too bad. Pretty solid shop.
The Hourglass 3s would be nice if you hadn't found Hourglass 1s in Fagul, but the Ether 2s could potentially be useful later on. Ooh, a Moon Boss. And we have the D-Lunars as our first boss on Ordeals. Does have those Cure 3s, so shouldn't have any trouble with it. Instead, using Cure 2s, again, still won't have too much trouble. These will do right about 400 damage. Not a high HP spot, so fairly easy.
Yeah, I believe each of them should have around like 1,000 or so HP.
Something around that.
Pizza getting blocked by that Troya lady. Thankfully having 2 Tellas, so it doesn't really matter that she was in the way. That lady's awfully inconvenient sometimes.
Final Fantasy IV has a lot of those moving NPCs that just love to block your way. And Pizza, instead of going to Ordeals, looks like he's going to take on the Baron in first, pick up that second Sid. And this is going to be Water Hag, so a free fight. Thank you, Woobear, for the raid. Much appreciated. eykir also on this Water Hag fight.
That second Sid is going to be very nice. Even more damage output, more tankiness, and Pizza having another axe to be able to equip.
Very, very true. Second fight in Ordeals is the Elements fight. Going to use a Cure 3 should take it out right away. Or it's very, very close.
It seems like the Baron Inn happened to be just free today. Having Water Hag and then immediately followed by King Queen Eblon.
Two very free fights. It is nice to be able to get through Baron Inn fairly safely, but you would probably want to see at least one of these three fights in a more difficult spot later on. Error on the last phase of that Elements fight. And like that, he is through the second fight of Ordeals. Pizza now through that King Queen Eblon, followed very closely by eykir. We'll have that Sid and a Masamune.
That is quite funny. The King Queen holding their son's weapon for him.
I mean, if you're the king and queen of a kingdom turned into monsters, don't you want your son to have amazing equipment to make sure that you don't suffer?
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
Now, if only Edge will actually appear. And Ordeals has the Magma Key, so Hook Route is not required.
It's a pretty nice find, and we see Baron Guards. A lot of these free bosses getting knocked out of the way pretty early could make this late game quite interesting.
We have already seen Val and Wyvern, so the late game isn't absolutely terrifying, but certainly could still potentially be troublesome. eykir now making the dive through the Hook Route, probably just looking for that character before climbing up Ordeals. Poidrac now has his second sit in Masamune, and Pizza is making his climb up Ordeals, going to run into that D-Lunar fight.
Pizza shouldn't have really too much issue with any of these bosses having a pretty set team versus Error, who came up here with a Rosa, a Sid, and two Tell.
Certainly we'll have a little less trouble through here, but Error finishing up Ordeals, so now his Tellas have all their spells, so they're going to be a little bit more useful. And if he ever runs into that Cecil, he'll be already a Paladin. And then we now know where the Kaipo guards are at that Ruby spot. So that is, like you said, a lot of those free bosses accounted for early.
Yeah, it definitely could make for some very interesting Moon or Underground fights. Ashura Leviathan being one of the most notable ones to be quite painful early.
We now have Poidrac making his climb up Ordeals. And Error is all Ordeals. I'm guessing probably going to go drop that Magma Key after doing a little bit of shopping. And it looks like eykir might be setting up to go ahead and go through the Hook route. Pizza, meanwhile, is on that second fight, the back attack. taking on elements, and Poidrac is close behind, getting ready to go face the D-Lunars, but Pizza takes a wipe to elements. And eykir is definitely going through that hook route. Alright, Pizza setting up for this second round against the elements, while Poidrac is making pretty quick work of the D-Lunars. And Error going to go pick up that Sid and Masamune from the freest of free Baronins.
Interested to see if maybe Miss Dragon shows up here in this first spot.
That could be that could make this a very interesting race. And it's Baigen. That's not exactly who you would want to see in this spot. He hits pretty hard, and you can't really use illusions against him because those hands are going to do vampire. Realizing that he doesn't want to take that on, leaves the hook route and probably going to head straight to ordeals after this.
It's definitely the smart move there.
Now, Baigen in the King-Queen spot, that is a really nasty spot for him. He's going to hit very hard. You can't use illusions to bypass that vampire, which probably could kill one of your party members at this point in time. So, makes sense. Let's see if maybe there's some more information on ordeals. Poidrac now on his elements fight, and Pizza has his magma key taking on this free fight with the Baron Guards.
So now that the Overworld's coming to a close, what do you feel is the ideal route to go with your current party in the Underworld?
I would still probably go to the Fey March first, simply because there's a free item and you can get information on those bosses. And then I would probably go to Dwarf Castle afterwards, just so I could possibly replace one of the Tellas and get another damage dealer, or just anything in general. 2 Tellas is a little overkill, but having one in your party would not be a bad thing.
I think personally the Feymark is a good play, but seeing that Luca key really early just makes me kind of want to get it out of the way right quick. And if it does happen to be something that we need, guarded by something that's very unfortunate, we can know to prep for that versus as somebody putting it off and going, okay, well, I don't want to go check Luca key.
Luca key is a pretty big gamble. It is a lot of time to make that check. It could very well pay off, though. And Error finally making his way down into the hook route. Probably just doing some shopping here, looking to pick up those sirens, maybe some Cure 3s as well. eykir finishing up that D-Lunar fight. Poidrac now on his Baron Guards should have that Magma Key and very quickly have a fully powered Tella. Alright, Pizza doing a little bit of shopping, picking up those Thor Rages from the Agart shop. Thor Rages are really nice if you run into a Keinatsu, especially if you don't have any black magic.
eykir making it through the elements fight, just dealing with two of the four elements. Wasn't that hard with Tellas and Ice One.
Oh, makes very clean work of that elements fight. The only difference with only killing the first two is you only get half the experience. And Error, our first runner underground, looting the job dwarf. Doesn't look like he's going to give us a job dwarf check. And as being pointed out in chat, job dwarf area was pretty loaded. A crystal armor is amazing for money.
eykir getting rewarded with Tella going to be learning all their spells, and they'll be making their way underground very, very soon, while we see Error looking like they're going to go grind.
Makes sense. With this party, you're going to want some levels early on to deal with some of these underground bosses. There's an hourglass, so the egg won't hatch, and shouldn't have too much trouble getting through it from here.
Another decent strategy for this fight over Weak and Virus would probably just be to throw Tella in the middle and take a shot at casting Stone, which may be a little faster, but it still gets the job.
And Pizza making sure to validate his run. It is a checking the job dwarf. Because I misread it, it was a PE teacher. Poidrac is now underground, heading straight to Tomra as well. And it looks like Error is going down into the Fey March.
It seems maybe Pizza's gonna make a quick shop here and possibly check out maybe a replacement Tella here.
But first has to combat everyone's favorite boss, inventory management. eykir, probably pretty ecstatic, doesn't have to fight that Bigan, dropping that magma key.
And Error getting the tower key from the Feymark chest, which kind of opens up the play to the tower, especially now that a few eggs are out of the way.
Has a few eggs out of the way, and that tower key makes tower very appealing. Poidrac now making his way down into the Fey March, and looks like Pizza's finished up his shopping in Dwarf Castle. Yep. The Fey March also had some samurai arrows, a silent staff, and a poison axe. All pretty good gear for this party.
See coffins in the Feymark item shop. I would suspect that Poidrac is going to buy a few.
Coffins would certainly make a couple of coffins would certainly make that egg grind much easier. And our Fey March bosses is a Moon Boss and Mom Bomb. Ooh.
So all that would leave is Ogopogo, Pale Dim, and Plague. Because we did see D-Lunars on the first spot in Ordeals, and Wyvern was at the water.
That's correct. If that was Plague in the Leviathan spot, you certainly could take it down at this point in time. It would just be a little slow. Mom Bomb, if you have illusions, could be doable as well. Again, it would just be slow fights. And we're being told in chat, Pale Dim was a D-miss, so that's either Ogo Pogo or Plague. But Poidrac also noping out of those fights. Eykir, Poidrac, and Pizza all now getting to make some omelets, try to get some levels, and the Dwarf Castle had Bacchus wines.
It's a pretty nice item to pick up with this crew. Rosa with the heroin robe and 2 Sids with some pretty stacked axes.
And it looked like Era picked up an Elven bow. That's actually a really nice bow for Rosa. It mostly counters that, I think it's Will stat? Ooh, D-mist in Dwarf Castle as well.
So seeing D-mist here in Dwarf Castle is really nice because it gives us that awesome possible key item after we're done here. We can go check really quick and then come back down if need.
It certainly does. It makes Dwarf Castle a lot more appealing of a play. Plus, you'll get another character, so hopefully get something, you know, to replace one of those Tellas, maybe even one of the Sids if you're feeling adventurous. Or they could end up with a third Tella.
This is very true. See Error making pretty quick work of the D-mist here. Getting some pretty solid damage from both Tellas and both Sid.
Pizza and Eykir are now down in the Fame Arch, going to pick up their tower key. Probably also see the coffins in the shop.
Looks like Poidrac's throwing out a quick safety save and diving right back in. Gonna find Miss Dragon as well. I'd be pretty excited about finding Miss Dragon.
It's really nice to see Miss Dragon, especially this early. Now you don't have to worry about chat's favorite place for Miss Dragon at CPU. Era gets through that D-miss fight, though his Rosa is on the ground. And Leviathan behind D-mist.
And a Yang.
The Yang will be good in the late game simply because you don't need to worry too much about his gear. And we do have a black robe or black belt for him, so that'll be nice for him. Just have to get those levels going.
It would be nice if somebody had a Thunderclaw that they possibly picked up earlier to throw on with that companion Cat Claw to get a nice 4 times damage against Leviathan.
Alright. Our boss at Leviathan is that Plague. Unfortunately, Rosa was not able to get that Starveil off right away, so now trying to kill off the Tella. And Error with that Lightning 3 takes out the Leviathan very, very quickly. And now, Eykir has got the Plague hitting itself with the count status, so unfortunately Rosa's still gonna take a fall.
Looks like Air's gonna go grind a little bit more, get that Yang some levels, really up his damage output.
Makes sense. If right now Yang is probably going to be the hardest hitting character for that Zeromus fight, want to get him online as quickly as possible.
Looks like both Pizza and Eykir are making pretty good progress through this Plague fight. Rosa's putting out a heck of a lot of damage.
One of the nice things about bows and arrows is the fact that it does do more damage to flying enemies, which Plague is. And we do have a Cat Claw for that Yang, so Yang's gonna have some decent damage. Poidrac on his Leviathan fight shouldn't have too much trouble with this.
Looks like Pizza gets through. Pretty awesome. Let's find out what the reward is.
And Era is gonna dive that Baron key he got from Dwarf Castle. Ooh, a required Plague at Leviathan.
That's pretty big advantage to Pizza right there. As looks like Eykir is the only one that wanted to make the other play right there.
It's a huge play. You now have half of go modes. You still need the Adamant and you still need a way to the moon, so a lot of checks left to be done, but having that Legend Sword is a huge advantage at this point.
And then making this play up the tower immediately after seeing that Legend Sword. I feel this is pretty heads up play. Unfortunately, missing out on the demist, but taking quite a lead right now.
Certainly is. Poidrac gets through that Baron Castle pretty quickly, or Dwarf Castle, and Era is diving into Baron. And yes, Dwarf Castle was the Baron key, along with having a demist. Eykir should be pretty close to having this Plague fight finished. And in Venerable, no one has checked Rydia's mom quite yet. It looks like Poidrac's going to be the first to give us that check.
And we see Dr. Luge in the tower itself, not at the top.
Gotta have a little bit of French vanilla.
It's actually pretty nice to see this fight here. It makes it nice and easy. This fight's usually a headache because it's so long and drawn out sometimes. Having it at a nice, easy, quick spot makes it just nice.
Certainly is. Poidrac gets the rat tail from Rydia's mom, so Still a little bit more checking to do with that, but it's a key item.
And eykir getting their legend sword as well. Curious to see where their next play is going to be at. If it's going to be chasing that tower as well, or maybe going to the dwarf castle.
With the knowledge of that legend sword, I think tower key would be the better play, simply because it's 2 potential key item checks. And the rat tail leading to everyone's favorite weapon, the best weapon in the game, a drain spear. Ooh.
Definitely paid off.
The Baron King is the Fabul Gauntlet.
And we see Odin at the top of the tower, which is pretty nice, as the top of the tower, I believe, has the lowest magic stat in the game.
This is very true. So his Odin ability isn't going to be too scary, but his team's still going to take a beating from it. Does have those lightning arrows with Rosa, so that's going to do a lot of damage to this Odin. Plus, both Tellas having Lightning 3 should be able to get through this fight fairly easily.
Yeah, this fight should be over pretty quick, especially with Rosa just doing so much damage.
Very, very true. Not going to have any trouble with this. And eykir making the play for Dwarf Castle.
Pizza get through Odin right there. No issues at all. Having those lit arrows is a very good buy. And then that lit 3 from Tell is just pretty unblockable. And Power Robe as a reward isn't too bad. It'll be good for the Sids, but unfortunately it's not a key.
It'll be good for Sids. It'll actually be really good for Yang if he picks him up from Dwarf Castle. Poidrac now in his Baron Castle taking on this Bahamut fight. Not too scary in this spot. Generally not scary at all.
It's like an error is on the last fight of the Fabul Gauntlet, so we should be seeing the Baron reward here in a minute.
Poidrac now going to get the bad news that he's got to tangle with the Fabul Gauntlet. And, ooh, Iridia.
Ooh, we see a reward for the tower key turn in was the pan, and that's going to give Pizza another nice quick 2 item, or actually 3 item checks.
That tower key paying off. That's another key item, and like you said, 3 checks. 1 from Sylph and 1. Well, actually only 2. It's 1 from Sylph, 1 from Sheila. But it'll make not having to triple die Fabul nice. And the Baron trash can today is a Twin Harp.
We get a nice pro ring from the Sylphs. That's pretty advantageous.
Pro ring will be very nice for this party, especially since you right now have a Tella who has low HP and Rosa who you definitely want to keep alive. And it looks like Pizza wants to finish off the underground, so going to Dwarf Castle next. And Era making quick use of that Twin Harp, going straight to Cave Magnus. And the Baron trash can was what had Harp. Eykir finishes up Dwarf Castle, going to be rewarded with that Baron key.
While Poidrac is finishing up the Fubul Gauntlet at Baron, will be receiving their I already forgot what the Twin Harp. Yeah, we'll be receiving the Twin Harp there, and be interested to see where they're gonna go.
Poidrac choosing to keep the Rydia. Now, Rydia's interesting because she needs a lot of experience to come online, though I believe our runners have found a Sylph Summon, so that'll make her useful a little bit earlier. And now we're going to be a little bit quiet while we listen to the tunes provided by our favorite bard in the bed. Alright, our fight in the harp is the Dark Imp, so that's one of the last couple of free fights we have. Don't want to see that here, but the music is the Warriors of Dawn from Final Fantasy V. Eykir getting rewarded with his Drain Spear, and looked like Poidrac did a little bit more grinding underground.
Pizza picking up their Yang, ditching Nutella. Pretty interesting play, right?
It makes sense. At this point in time, Tella's going to start falling off, even though he has his spells. You only really need one. And our Twin Harp today leads to a Sand Ruby. It is a key item, closer to that 10 count, but not progression.
I mean, if they really want an Edward, I suppose they could go get one.
Edward still does have some uses. That hide command is very good. And with this current party, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have hide for the Z fight. So the only checks we don't know about is that Luca key and Mom Bomb. So, and we still don't know the Odin spot as well. Pizza finishes up his Dwarf Castle, going to be rewarded with Baron Key, and Eykir is now making his way down into the Baron Castle. And Poidrac's giving us an encore on music. Oh, right. We still haven't seen Sheila 2. Probably going to be what Pizza goes to pretty quickly after this.
Yeah, I assume that's going to be a really quick check after D-Mist, and then we'll see what unfolds from there. It should be pretty interesting to see what pops up and how routing is going to change.
Error is rewarded with his own personal Drain Spear.
Error making the play up the tower. Meaning we're gonna see that power shirt reward up the top, and see that pan reward as well.
And before Pizza goes turn in that pan and Sheila won, he is going to go pick up his own personal Drain Spear. Everyone wants the Drain Spear tonight, it seems. Except for Error, who did not go check the D-Mist, I think. Oh, yeah, he did.
Eykir currently taking on the Fabul Gauntlet. Will be rewarded with a Rydia soon. Pizza making their way up the left tower of Fabul to talk to Sheila. We will be receiving 2 possible key items here. Let's see what they are. First one is Life Staff. That's a pretty good pickup right there.
Certainly is. And the pan is a crystal ring. Now both those items are still really nice to get. So the pan is definitely worth a turn in, but it isn't progression.
Definitely some really solid gear.
There he is. Life Staff giving you plus 15 for your white magic, and the crystal ring, just an amazing ring to have. And now Poidrac is making the climb up tower, while Eykir's still finishing up this Fabul Gauntlet.
Everything's starting to point more and more towards that Luca key.
We still have 3 potential checks on Earth. Again, Luca key, which probably going to be one of the last checks the runners make. That Mom Bomb, which is fairly scary in the Asura spot. And the Odin spot, which we still don't even know what's there.
Error having no issues with Odin doing quad 9s with a lit 3 from Tella. Gonna have no issues with that spot at all. Like Eykir decides to not keep Rydia. An overall pretty solid choice, especially since Eykir, I believe, has done 2 separate grinds, getting their Sids and Tellas and Rosas all their HP and level.
No, at this point in time, it's not fully worth taking a Rydia. She takes too much time to get fully online. I would take her personally, but I'm obsessed with Rydia. But definitely the right call on Eykir's side. He's done too much grinding already and doesn't want to grind Rydia again. And now Pizza is making his way through Baron Castle. And a Soma drop on Tella is actually nice. That'll allow him to make a cast of Medio.
Still no Odin spot checks, surprisingly, from all 4 runners. They completely avoided the spot. Didn't even want to give it an idea. That could be one of the big choking points if somebody does happen to go there and everybody else kind of just shrugs it off.
Certainly could be. It is a potential key item. Eykir, just like everyone else, as soon as he got that Twin Harp, going to go give us our second encore of music tonight. Error finishes up that Dr. Luge fight very, very quickly, and Pizza is now on the Bahamut fight. While our runners are just covering things that they've already done, let's give a shout out to our restream team tonight. Invenerable handling the restream, doing a good job except for the one missed on Twin Harp. And Mirai Noko taking care of tracking tonight, this afternoon, if I can get times correct. So thank you both so much for your hard work. And we had a special guest roll this seed tonight, Direwolf.
Yeah, huge thank you to everybody who works behind the scenes just to get all these races to all these viewers. It's a lot of work, and they do a really fantastic job.
It's a lot of work, a lot of time, and your only reward is the joy of doing a restream, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, make sure you check out everyone on the restream team. It's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time to get through it.
eykir, unfortunately, there tried to kill themselves off to make the Dark Elf first fight go a little faster, but missed it by just a little bit, and getting a few extra HP ran out text boxes, slowing them down just a little bit.
Oof. Error has his pan and immediately going to go turn that in. Already rewarded with the Sylph reward. Now got to go get that life staff and crystal ring.
And having already done Twin Harp and Baron, but not having their Legend Sword, I wonder if we'll see Error go directly to Feymark and try and take on both Plague and Mom.
It would be the most... It'd be the... If I could think. It would be the statistically best play simply because it's 2 key item checks there. Though Odin spot, since you're back over on the Overworld, wouldn't be a bad check either.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty good to take a quick peek at the Odin spot just to see if it's even feasible currently. Because it could pay off really big, and just this one check can completely change the pace of the game.
But it looks like Error is going to head back underground. I would guess probably heading to the Feymark. Poidrac whacking Yang on the head with a pan.
Pizza is currently a little more than halfway through the football gauntlet, making quick work of these bosses being all leveled up and spiffy.
He's on the 5th fight of the football gauntlet, the football gauntlet itself being 6 fights long. And a total of 16 enemies. eykir now has his own personal sand ruby. Looks like he's going to take it just for the key item count.
I mean, it's really not too much of a time loss to run up a couple steps and open up a text box. It's always advantageous having 10 key items, getting that extra EXP.
He is currently sitting on 9 key items, if I'm counting that right. Whereas Error actually has 10 key... will have 10 key items when he reaches that Legend Sword. And eykir, not going to that Odin spot, immediately running up tower as well. Will be rewarded with the pan once he turns in the tower key. And correct, Odin and Luca have not been checked, along with this Mom Bomb at Asura.
Poidrac making the play to check the Luca key, which is, I feel, pretty easy check, especially since we've already found Mist Dragon, and you can just take the time it takes to run down really quick and make sure you get that key item knocked out of the way. Because if it does happen to be adamant, or Darkness Crystal, it could be really beneficial to pick it up.
If this was Darkness Crystal right here, Poidrac might skip the Fey March and go straight to the moon, which could actually be a disadvantage. But of course, if this check turns out to be nothing, you can just reset and not even have to take a look at the boss.
We got Pizza making the Odin spot check. Getting Golbez at Odin, that's pretty quick.
Just the immediate reset. Don't want to tangle with that Golbez right now. And then our fourth runner now going to make his way to the Twin Harp.
Error making pretty solid work of this Mob Bomb fight, already in the explosion phase. Or just completely skips it, in fact.
That is not a bad thing to see. Skip the explosion. And we have the pass. And Luca is the Darkness Crystal. And it's just Melon Z here at the Luca Cave. Not too terribly scary. Probably want to get some blinks up, but shouldn't have too much trouble with this.
Now, seeing the Darkness Crystal here is actually both a bit of a curse and a blessing, as you get another character possibly if you want them. We've found everything in shops, haven't we?
We found everything we'd be interested in at all of our shops, so not too worried about the moon shop, but the extra character would be nice. And as pointing out in chat, Golbez is very doable for any one of our runners right now. It's a time sink of a fight, and you're not really guaranteed to get any progression. And you can see Poidrac making very quick work of that Mylon Z. Now has his own Darkness Crystal. Now the question is he going to go straight to the moon, or is he going to go ahead and make a quick check of those Fey March bosses?
Eykir taking down Odin will be receiving their power shirt very shortly, and then making the escape from Lower Babel. And we have Pizza going to make quick work of these Dark Imps, getting that Hourglass off. While Error's making pretty solid progress on this Plague fight, throwing up a lot of damage really quick.
Pizza making use of the Stone Spell to quickly take out the other two Dark Imps. Very nice play from him. And with that Sand Ruby, that now puts Pizza at 10 key items, and it looks like Poidrac's going straight to the moon.
And Error going to be receiving one half of the crystal here, getting the Legend Sword, bumping Error up to 10 key items. The next two places for Error to check are going to be Odin or Luca. So curious if they're going to take that Odin spot fight.
I think at this point, since you're already underground, he's probably going to go to Luca next. No, looks like he's going back to the surface. Meanwhile, Pizza making his dive down into that Luca cave.
Eykir gonna smack Yang on the head here with the pan, receive their Sylph item, and then more than likely gonna go turn in the pan and receive their two fancy items from.
Most likely exactly what he's going to do, and Error is going to that Odin spot, going to find that Troll Bez.
I know I did see Error sell off a Fire Claw earlier, which would have come in handy in this fight. Because once Yang gets unfrozen, all you would need to do is throw on the Fire Claw, and it would be pair it with a Cat Claw, and it would be 4 times damage against Golbez here.
Looks like he has that crystal ring on Rosa, so she is not paralyzed. So could get a chance to have her throw the Silk Wet or Star Veil and be able to get through. But Rosa is one of the chosen 3 to die. Left with 2 Sids. It could still be possible. Gonna be a little rough though for this Golbez fight. And there's the wipe. And it looks like Error is going to take advantage of knowing it's Golbez and kill off 3 party members, so he keeps the ones up that he wants.
It's pretty heads up play right there. Maybe some coffins would be handy here. I don't know if Error has it.
Thought he had some kamikazes, which could work just as well.
Eykir getting their Darkness Crystal. Gonna get through the Mylon Z fight and then have a decision to make. Go to the moon or go check the Odin's.
And I saw that our moon character was a Porum. I didn't see if Poidrac chose to keep her or not. And both Pizza and Eykir on this Mylon Z. Pizza making very quick work of him.
So if you were in Poidrac's position right now and if you didn't have the Legend or Adamant, would you clear the full moon if you happen to find the Adamant?
That'd be a tough call, simply because there is a lot of checks on the moon. I would kind of have to base it on what I found up here. If I find Adamant fairly quickly, and then potentially another key item, I might go back to Earth, but clearing full moon would probably be the thing I would do. And Poidrac gonna do a little bit of a grind.
Looks like Error is all ready to go for that Golbez fight. They're gonna have a much better time this time, not getting the hold gas applied at all.
He'll still get the hold gas, but if I believe he left Rosa alive, Rosa has that crystal ring, so she won't be paralyzed and will be able to throw that Star Veil and be able to get this fight going.
That's right. I for some reason thought the pro ring helped with paralyze. It does not. That's right. I'm a little rusty.
Yep, has Yang alive and the Rosa, so as long as he gets that Star Veil up on Rosa, shouldn't have too much trouble. And Inveterable pointing out, if he could have left the Hero Robe on Rosa and put a Crystal Ring on Yang, neither of them would have been paralyzed, and both of them could have got that Star Veil up, got through this fight with no trouble. There's the Star Veil on Rosa, and this fight should be doable now. Yeah, Golbez is just going to kill himself off those Star Veil. And very nicely done on Error's side. Rewarded with a Crystal Sword. Unfortunately, Cecil will not be appearing in this seed.
So with the Earth basically being full cleared by Error, they're going to head down, pick up their Darkness Crystal at Luca, and then make their way up to the moon. And any educated guesses on where that adamant is going to be?
I am hoping for some value in Cave Bahamut with the Earth Crystal, and then the Earth Crystal leading to Adamant. Let's get a lot more checks in for our runners. But Error just having this single check left, and the only one that has done Odin, so he won't have that weighing on the back of his mind. Will have no trouble with the Milan Zevite at the bottom of Luca. And no Cecil's allowed. That'd make this seed too easy.
And eykir making the play at the Odin spot. Hopefully they have a nice, quick, and easy fight, such as Error's. And they'll make their way to the moon afterwards. But just kind of clearing up any loose ends before taking that deep dive in them.
One other advantage Error has over all the rest of his opponents, he has that pass, so when he finds Adamant, if it's on the moon, he won't have to make another walk down the moon. Instead, we'll be able to use that pass. So definitely sitting very comfortable right now, even though he's going to be the last one to get that Darkness Crystal. And eykir taking on the Golbez as well. Pizza going to the D-Lunar spot, and this gets an Asura.
Not too bad of a find here. We just need to get a wall up on Asura, and it makes the fight pretty free.
And I believe he still has that Rune Axe, which will do bonus damage to the Asura, since she does count as a spellcaster.
And then being at 10 key items as well is going to be super advantageous. Getting that nice 200,000 experience from the slot here.
Certainly will. Eykir takes a very nasty wipe to Golbez. Golbez just not playing nice and just leaving the Sids alive.
Those illusions coming in handy from Pizza's pickup there. Especially since she counters everything in this fight.
Certainly does. She counters everything with a physical attack, so getting those illusions means she's not going to be able to hit you. And you will be able to whittle her down pretty safely. Tries to berserk Rosa, but unfortunately Rosa has the reflect status, and berserk doesn't go through reflect, only the Bacchus wine. Poidrac now also on the Asura fight.
Poidrac gonna have a little bit more of an advantage in this fight, having leveled quite a bit before heading down here. Just being able to out DPS Pizza overall.
Eykir making his second attempt at this Golbez fight. Has that crystal ring now on a Sid.
I see Error re-equipping all of his party after killing them all off before that Golbez fight happened to bring him back. Oh wait, no, he used the healing pot, that's right. Never mind, he's healing after the...
Alright, it looks like Eykir's getting that Star Veil off. Gets a second one off. Pizza having a little bit of trouble with this Asura fight. Is Rosa taking quite a beat.
And Poidrac skipping the not being able to get the legend could be a little advantageous for him. Finding only if they find only the adamant up here, they happen to check Mom Bomb first. That will be a little bit of a payoff there on the as they don't have to make that descent, as you were saying. The Error does not have to do as well.
It could be a payoff, but if someone, you know, if Eykir or Pizza finds adamant up here on the moon, they're definitely going to be in go mode before Poidrac, even though he made it to the moon first.
Yeah, definitely.
And Error looks like he's going to go pick up some more Bacchus wines from the Dwarf Castle. And it looks like Eykir's trying to get his party back up for this Golbez fight. Does finish it off, will be rewarded with his crystal sword. Pizza, Rosa, and Tella are both on the ground, so that's his source of blink. One of his Sids is on the ground. Ooh, this is looking like a pretty scary Asura.
Yeah, this is getting pretty hairy for Pizza. At least that Sid being in the back row, taking quite a little bit less damage. Her being able to cast Cure 4 and it being walled back is actually quite helpful.
Does get through it. And there's Adamant. Pizza's in go mode.
It's gonna be it is gonna be a little unfortunate for Poidrac not having that legend sword.
And with Pizza's party, he still is a little low on that DPS for the Z fight. Doesn't have a source of nuke. Rosa doesn't know white yet, and realistically, Sid doesn't do a whole lot of damage in the Z fight. So, gonna be pretty reliant on that Yang to get through this fight. And Error, first check is gonna be Cave Bahamut.
Pizza wasting no time. Gonna go make that crystal, and then seeing as how they have 10 key items, I would assume that Pizza is gonna do a quick egg grind down here and then just go right to the moon and make their descent.
Very likely, and it looks like Poidrac got through that Asura fight, so now has his own pink tail inanimate. But looks like he's gonna full clear the moon. Unfortunately, that's just not the right call today. And Karate is the fight at the plague spot.
It's like eykir is going to make this Cave Bahamut play as well, whether it's just Cave Bahamut or if they're going to grind here as well.
Definitely at least take a look at what the boss is, and then you can make decisions from there. But Pizza heading over with that crystal, gonna do a quick egg grind, and then be off to the Z fight.
Looks like we have Evil Wall as the in the Bahamut spot. That can be pretty scary. This is an extremely high physical spot.
It is a very high physical spot. You'll see he's gonna just absolutely tear through this party. He needs to get those illusions up right away. So you can see just casually doing almost 2k damage to Tella. Rosa does have that heroine rub, so it isn't taking too much damage, but still falls all the same. Has the illusions up. If he can make it to the crush phase, he shouldn't have too much trouble. And we get another Excalibur from the plague spot. If only they had a Cecil or an Edge to make use of that.
The good news is Poidrac's not even going to have to level at all for do any grinding for that Zeromus fight. Full clearing that moon will give quite a few amount of levels.
Certainly will, and his Rydia is already at level 45, only needs to reach level 50 to get nuked, so he'll probably, out of our runners, have one of the easier Z fights simply because he will have more DPS.
Error making a pretty smart play and just casting exit at the evil wall and knowing that it's going to take a little bit more grinding and it's going to be quite difficult with this current party setup.
Evil Wall at Bahamut is just a nasty fight in general. We have Octomam over in the Ogopogo spot. Initially a little bit of a scary fight, but as you do damage to it, gonna get less and less scary.
Error headed back in, so it looks like Error is going to take on Evil Wall. I'm pretty interested to see if any battle speed drops are going to be made at all.
We have eykir now on that crush phase. Should be able to keep up with resurrecting his party members and getting the damage out now. Pizza now on his last Siren.
Levels are looking pretty solid on Pizza's end as well, so don't see the end of being too far.
should be fairly close to ready to go. There's white on Rosa. Probably going to head to the Z fight now. Maybe turn in that Sand Ruby to pick up Bedward, just to be his agility anchor as well. But he does have Tella dead on the ground, so that's not a bad choice.
Poidrac getting the Earth Crystal from the Octo spot. That opening up one more check on the Earth that could stray away from checking the proper spot for that Legend Sword.
His one saving grace right now is the fact that Eykir and Error are tangling with this evil wall, and as you can see, it is taking them quite a bit of time to take it out. But Poidrac heading straight over to the Wyvern spot.
Pizza not hesitating, making that quick run down. We're going to be pretty close to this Romus fight here in the next couple minutes.
Should only take him about a minute and a half to get fully down the lunar subterrane, and then we'll be at everyone's favorite time of the game. And to answer chat, Legend Sword was behind Plague at Leviathan spot. And Wyvern is the Dark Elf today. And Error gets through the evil wall pretty nicely. Error now making his dive down into the lunar subterrane. If he goes bottom up, he will be in go mode very, very fast. He's already done a solid amount of grinding. And the package is what we get from that evil wall, not progression, just a key item. And unfortunately, our runners are all at 10 key items, so not very helpful.
Poidrac making pretty quick work of Dark Elf at Wyvern spot. Really making quick work of this moon, to be honest. Not having too many issues with any of the fights, to be honest.
Just a Gungnir spear from that Dark Elf. So once again, nothing to really help Poidrac. He does have that Earth Crystal, which probably going to lead him astray from that Legend Sword. Eykir now making his way down into the lunar subterrane, and Poidrac going straight for that Pale Dim spot.
Got Pizza roughly 3 floors away from the Zromus fight.
With them being so close to the Zeromus fight, there's a certain question we like to ask. Do you know what that question is?
Whose butt are we going to kick this afternoon/night? Could be morning, depending on where you...
There's just one sprite I want to see come up. And everyone in chat, if you have them, make sure you get your Z flags in. We're about to see who our Z sprite is today.
Looks like we got Rubicon at Pale Dim. It's not going to be too bad of a spot. That magic isn't the strongest in the world.
Crystal is thrown. And we have 8-bit Zeromus, or Zeromness this time.
Honestly, doesn't look too much different than the original.
It just has a little bit of kind of blurred out to me, but it is definitely the 8-bit version.
Error making pretty quick work of Ruby there. Unfortunately, working top down. So it's going to take a little bit to get to that adamant. And receiving a Murasame.
Will take him just a moment to get to the adamant, but chances are his next check will be that D-Lunar spot. So he'll be in go mode very, very quickly and does have that pass. Poidrac, this is the one thing that really helps him is them starting top down. So should go back to Earth at this point, skip that Bahamut spot, and hopefully go to the Fey March. We have our first big bang on Pizza side, and I believe he put Rosa in Berserk. So he's going to be relying very heavily on Tella to do the healing for now. And Poidrac is making the play into Bahamut Cave. Gonna see that evil wall.
Her headed the right direction, not making that Wyvern detour. Will more than likely check that quick 2-item spot. And shouldn't have too many issues at all with the shirt.
No, he'll have very little issues. His party is very well leveled at this point. Eykir still on that Ruby fight.
See Poidrac working pretty to get those blinks up to reduce as many casualties as possible.
Certainly is, and with Yang having 4k HP, this spot is not very scary for him. Rydia with Nuke, gonna have pretty easy time with this. Era now on his Asura fight, and Eykir finishing up the Ruby fight.
Pizza using Sid as a chemist here, it's not a bad strategy. It's a little on the slow side. I mean, I'd rather have Rosa toss some Cure 4s and having a full party heal versus just some single Cure 3s.
I kind of agree with you there, but I don't think he got very much gear for Rosa except for that life staff, and instead wanting to have the hero in road just for the extra defense.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good play either way. As we can see, they're already in Fallen Rocks. Saw Rosa run out of arrows there, get a little anger out with some straight punches to Zeromus instead.
Ooh, both his Sids hit the ground. And there's the flash. Pizza taking first place with a time of 1:39.49. GG, well played to him.
Yeah, Pizza played the seat pretty fantastic. I with the routing was pretty flawless, if you ask me.
He certainly had really good routing and made quick work of everything that was in his way. So see if we can get him in here for an interview.
And unfortunately, eykir making the play of going down to save and then going to check Wyvern. I didn't see if they happened to check what was in D-Lunars.
Unfortunately, Pizza does not have a mic, so will not be joining us for an interview, but he should join us in chat. And Poidrac making his way into that Fey March. And now Error has his Adamant in his in-go mode.
It's going to be pretty close, depending on which fight Poidrac decides to do first.
And it looked like eykir went to that Wyvern spot, and Poidrac choosing to do Mom Bomb first. We'll get that pass, so we'll have a faster route to the moon, and with his levels, this shouldn't be a hard fight, but certainly going to cost him a little bit of time.
Yeah, Error already having that pass and just needing to make the crystal and just go, since Error is already pretty leveled and ready to go.
Very, very true. That pass is going to pay off very nicely here for Error. And we do have Pizza in chat. GG once again for you on that first place finish.
Yeah, fantastic play today, Pizza.
Poidrac, quick work of that Mom Bomb. Probably actually now saves time by doing that and getting the pass.
eykir having a little bit of trouble with Dark Elf not having Tella up to cast weak, but it shouldn't have too many issues.
If he has an Hourglass, he could still throw that at this Dark Dragon and not have to worry about any of the attacks from it. And Error looks like he's going to go pick up that Bedward to get a better agility anchor. Poidrac on the right track, going after Plague now to try to get this Legend Sword.
eykir turning up empty at the Wyvern spot. Gonna head down and check. Ooh, casting exit actually. Think maybe for a quick heal.
Might be out of cabins. No, he's going back to Earth.
I wonder if they're changing their routing after seeing that dot done.
It's an interesting play. What does he have left? That Mom Bomb?
No, Earth Crystal was, I want to say, at Ogopogo spot.
Yes, Earth Crystal was at Ogopogo.
Oh yeah, going back to check that Mom Bomb spot.
Ooh, this is just what Poidrac needs to slip into that third place
And unfortunately, sometimes it is kind of hard to not make a play like this when you're like, okay, well, I'm feeling behind. Okay, I need to make a play. Oh no, somebody's done. Do I continue or do I go back for that one spot that I missed?
That's the thing with these sort of races. Everyone wants to finish as quickly as possible, and sometimes you just out mind game yourself. But Poidrac now has that Legend Sword, gonna immediately grab the crystal and probably run straight to Zeromus.
Error going to be pretty set up here with Rosa at a hefty HP amount and a nice agility anchor Eddie in the middle.
And yep, eykir going to this Mom Bomb will be rewarded with the pass, so not terrible, but
it is an unfortunate routing decision to make, especially if you're like only halfway done with the moon. The moon is one of those ones that can just kind of kick you on the butt, especially if you just kind of cancel on it halfway. Poidrac getting their crystal.
Poidrac has his crystal, gonna head straight to the Zeromus fight. Does have nuke on Rydia, so we'll probably have a little bit faster of a Z fight. And sorry, Moonblaze Wolf, you do not get a refund because it is still a special sprite. It is just 8-bit.
eykir making pretty solid work on this Mom Bomb here, getting everybody all illusioned up and zerked and ready to go. Doing some pretty solid damage.
Shouldn't have any trouble with this Mom Bomb, especially with the levels he's already gotten.
Poidrac now on their way to turn in the pass, head to Zeromus, and they will be in the Zeromus fight as well in a matter of seconds. So, I don't know, Poidrac could catch up if Error does make a small mistake somewhere.
We'll have to make up a little bit of time, but is possible. And after getting that pass, eykir just resets right out of Mom Bomb, right back on the moon. And is going... Looks like he's gonna go take on the Plague spot first. No one did hook pizza, but we did see, I believe it was eykir was going to attempt it before doing ordeals, saw that it was Bigan at King Queen Evelyn and just noped out of that fight.
eykir going to make a pretty quick work of this Yang fight. Just having everybody illusion again is going to reduce that damage output, even though it's still relatively low damage.
Poidrac has that Crystal Throne set up for a Star Veil on Rydia, and looks like he's going to be going with a little bit of hybrid strats here. And we see the first big bang on Era's side, Eddie already on the ground.
And we see some falling rocks on Error's side, so Error should be done within a matter of seconds.
And there's the flat. Error does take second place with a time of 1:49.35. GG, well played to him.
Alright, yeah, GG Error. Ykir getting through that Yang fight, getting their Excalibur, and more than likely going to go take on that D Lunar spot next.
And we are joined by Error. GG, well played on second place tonight.
Thank you.
So, double tele hook start. How nervous were you at the start of this?
Well, so my second race of League, which started double Tela with Tela on Hobbs and Tela on Moon. Long story short, I did not perform well in that race, so I was not happy. I was getting a little bit of deja vu. But the items and the other characters were a little bit better in this one than the one last weekend.
This seed was very nice with the characters. Some early Sids, a Yang and Dwarf Castle, and then a Rosa. Oh yeah, that's a pretty solid part.
So part of my routing was because of the equipment I had, because, you know, by the time I dove underground, I had 2 Cat Claws, a Massive Unit, a Ninja Sword, and the Excalibur. So it's like I prioritized Dwarf Castle pretty early, and then when I got the Baron Key out of that, went and did Baron almost immediately after, momentarily forgetting that I had killed Mist Dragon in Dwarf Castle, which luckily didn't come back to bite me. The one thing that did come to bite me is that I did Luca Cave last. I would assume that most of us did it pretty late, but I felt like I played pretty well overall. For me, one of my better races that I felt like I've played in a long time. It's just that I full cleared the earth. Kind of how it goes sometimes.
You definitely full cleared Earth. You still took second place. One of the big things, though, was Poidrac skipped that plague fight at Leviathan and went to the moon. So that hurt him quite a bit, and Eykir decided to abandon Moon before finding the Adamant and went back to Earth to take on Mom Bomb.
So I figured there was a decent chance that I was the last one up to the moon, just because it was I full cleared Earth, except the Earth crystal, but yeah, I felt like I played pretty well. It's just that, you know, the checks I made didn't work out for getting first. I'm happy with second. I felt like I needed at least second. If I want to have a chance of moving on.
I wouldn't beat yourself up. You played incredibly well today. I mean, even full clearing Earth, getting second place. You were on the moon last, but just behind, I think, Eykir by just a little bit. So overall, incredibly well played on your end. Congrats on second. I don't know if you have any more races.
I've got one more. It's next weekend. I get to be one of the 3 people that tries to keep El Magus from a perfect record. Yeah, a tall order. That's one of the big reasons why I thought like I needed at least second. I almost felt like I needed first from this, but I'll take second.
Well, you did play quite well. GG again.
Yeah. GG, well played, and good luck on your final race. You can certainly beat El Magus.
I'll do my best.
Someone needs to wear her. You can do it.
And we are also joined by Poidrac. GG on third place today.
That's 2 third places, so I've got 4 points, which actually puts me at even with where I expected to be at the end of the game, end of the tournament. So far so good.
No, so double tele start. How nervous did that make you feel?
Not as nervous once I saw the hook, because as soon as I saw the hook, I knew exactly where I was going, and with Rosa down there, Rosa's you can do so much with Rosa. I was using her as a attacker for the majority of that until Yarn came along with, and Yarn just blew the heck out of that seed for me. So the only bit of bad play I feel I made is I didn't check that boss in Land of Summer Monsters. I believe I was the last to go and fight that, was I?
Yeah, you were the last one to take on that Leviathan spot, and when we saw you go to Moon, it was like, hopefully the Moon leads to some more key item checks that you'll have to do to give you a chance to take first, but unfortunately, Adamant was just readily available.
It wasn't readily available. Asura in that spot can be a pain because of the fact that there's a lot of hit points and the counters are fairly powerful, and we didn't have a lot to get through that apart from what I did, which was the just blinking everyone up and then Starveling and off Rydia to just make sure she couldn't heal herself. It's a difficult fight no matter what. But I'm like I said, if that plague fight, I usually check that, and if it's plague, I usually fight it because it's an easy fight to get through. It's long, but it's easy to get through. And if I had that before going up to the Moon, I likely would have been closer to first than I was.
It would have been very, very close between you and Pizza for first place, because Pizza got Adamant literally seconds before you did. And the big difference between y'all was you had Rydia with Nuke, so it would have been a very tight race right there.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Rydia, it was, yes, please, I need some late game damage. Sid is okay with that Earth Hammer, but a nuke from Rydia just is triple to quad what a Sid can do, and it's not too much extra in time wise.
Funny thing is, you're the only one that took Rydia.
I'm not really surprised, honestly. Rydia isn't a first choice, but for me, Rydia is a very good choice. Always has been and likely always will be.
I'm a Rydia fanatic too, so I was ecstatic to see you take her. So overall, very good play.
Yeah, I'm happy with what I did overall. I just wish I had checked that at one spot, and but what can you do? It's just do what you can. But I am really happy with the way I've played today. At least on this second one. The first one earlier today, not so much. This one definitely felt a lot better.
All right, well, GG again, Poidrac. Do you have any more races?
I have 2 more races. I believe one is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and one is on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So plenty more to come from me. I'm hoping to hit that threshold at this moment in time. It's going to be difficult for me. I've got some really good races coming up. But if I can hit maybe a second or a first, I've got a good chance.
Well, looking forward to seeing your remaining races. GG, and good luck.
Yeah, thanks very much. And I made it to the end of the freeway! Now to go to bed.
Yeah, GG again, and good luck on your remaining 2 races.
Have a good evening, everyone.
All right. And if you've been enjoying what our runners have been doing, make sure you give them a follow. They're definitely putting themselves out here for our entertainment today. It's a lot of work to get through these races, especially, Poidrac being across the pond. This is actually probably fairly late for him. And we see eykir does have his crystal now, making a V-line straight to that Zeromus fight.
Yeah, eykir sure really shouldn't have too many issues with this Zeromus fight. Very ready to go equipment-wise and levels.
Yeah, this should be a fairly easy fight for him.
So as we see eykir enter the Zeromos fight here, any thoughts on any favorites coming into the final rounds here for the overall champion? Do you have a favorite?
You mean who do I want to win overall?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough call. Because I enjoy chatting with a lot of different runners that are in the top 32. Simbu is a good choice that I would love to see win. Moonblaze Wolf is a really cool guy I would love to see win. Poidrac's also really cool. There's just so many. I can't really pick someone I would want to see win overall. I just don't want Invenerable to win.
That's fair. That's fair.
And apparently I have been banned. No, I like Invenerable too. It's just, he's really good, just like Almagus. I would love to see both of them taken out.
Yeah, there's quite a few good names in this tournament, and there's a reason there.
No, all of the top 32 are really good runners. The community in and of itself is absolutely amazing, and I enjoy being a part of it. It's really hard for me to just say, this is the person I want to win, because it feels like I'm rooting for one person when I enjoy like 10 others in the top 32, and then I enjoy chatting with everyone, so.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fantastic people in this tournament. Even, I mean, just in the whole community in general, everybody's been pretty awesome.
Certainly is the case. eykir already has his Tela on the ground, and looks like he's gonna make use of Rosa for just healing this time instead of berserking him like Pizza did.
It's like that bottom Sid happens to be out of arrows and is just kind of punching away.
I think he was trying to make use of a glitch and probably used Berserk with Rosa instead of a Bacchuswine, which means that those arrows can run out. So now just having to rely on the Sid with an axe and a Yang, and as you can see, the DPS is still kind of on that low end.
The good thing is everybody's HP is just so high that you really don't have to worry about getting like a super gnarly Big Bang roll or something.
Very, very true. So be able to heal up with Rosa. He should get a black hole here soon, so if he needs to, he can always refresh some arrows on Sid. And even though this is a fairly slow Zeromus fight, it's still very safe. Yang and both Sids having over 3k HP and Rosa sitting at 2200. Shouldn't be too scared of a Big Bang.
Yeah, it'd have to be some super unfortunate luck to get Rosa knocked out here with the Big Bang.
And there's a black hole, so that'll remove the Berserk status from his entire party. Already has a Berserk queued up for probably Yang, yep. And Sid taking a nuke to the face, having to go ahead and throw some a Cure 3 on him. And switching off that bow for the Ogre Axe on Sid.
A little bit more damage than just straight up punching Zeromus.
Just a little bit. But we're in rocks at this point, so he should be just about wrapped up. And Sid gets the final hit. Poidrac taking 4th place with a time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 59 seconds. GG, well played.
GG, Iker.
And he should be joining us for an interview in just a moment. And we're joined by eykir. GG, well played today.
Thank you. Ever have a scene where you feel like you made every decision wrong? That was this one for me.
Yeah, almost every seed I do. Anyways, so double tele hook start. How nervous were you at the start of it?
I went around doing more shopping than I usually do, just looking for something. I was hoping that there was going to be a good character up on Hobbs, and there was with Sid. I don't mind having Sid with them. At least that's part of the reason I dove hook early also, was to get the character there. Try to balance out the two Sids, two Tellas.
Certainly did. Rosa being a pretty powerful character for this party.
She kind of, with the heroine robe early, she was also a good damage dealer, and then she was...
Anyways, what were you... When you went to the moon, you ended up doing like half the moon and then going back to Earth. What was your thought process on that?
My thought process was no one had finished yet, and so I left one check on Earth, and that was Mom Bomb, because I couldn't take it. I didn't think I could take it out the time. Illusions weren't found until we're on the moon. I felt like I needed those. So I went back, I made a safety save, and then went back to try to take them out in case they were what it was, and everyone skipped it, and it turned out not to be the case.
No, the mom just having a pass. Not a bad key item to have, but at that point in time, not needed.
Had I gone down to where everybody normally starts their moon dive, I would have found Adamant right away. Probably saved Rob.
Yeah, I mean, you went and tangled with that evil wall, which obviously is not a fun fight in Bahamut, but overall, you still played very well. It's just rando feud today.
Yep, it does that. I thought it was a cute diving hook early, and then Magma Key. Again, another false hook.
Not very many hook seeds this time around.
That was like the one thing I did not want to see at Ordeals.
So, any final thoughts or any more races you're participating?
Nope, that was my last one. I think I had to get first or second to advance, so I didn't. That's fine. I'm actually doing my first commentating tomorrow. So I look forward to joining that crew.
It's going to be fun having you on comms, I'll tell you what.
Watching the rest of the races too. Good luck to everybody.
GG again. Sorry you got fourth, but overall still incredible play, so make sure everyone follows.
Thank you very much, Jirasu and Couch. Thanks for the streamers and the commentators and the tracker. Everyone have a good night.
GG again, and to be fair, I felt you played extremely well today.
Thank you. Night.
So Couch, any final thoughts on the seed or race today?
Oh man, it was definitely interesting. Having Darkness Crystal at Luca Key proved to be, I wouldn't say beneficial to anybody, but it did prove to be a little bit of a headache.
Any required key item at Luca is always a headache. Luckily the boss there wasn't too bad, and unfortunately that Darkness Crystal kind of hurt Poidrac a little bit more than it helped. But very well done from all our runners. Make sure you give them all a follow. Invenerable kind enough to put their Twitches in chat. And also a huge shout out to our restream today. Invenerable handling the restream. A good job as always, making sure to have the correct edits when they're needed. And Mirai Noko taking care of tracking, doing an incredible job and catching things that, us as commentators, very easy for us to miss. And of course, it was a great pleasure to work with you, Couch.
Oh, absolutely. Huge thank you to you and everyone else behind the scenes. GG all the racers. And with that, we have 2 races tomorrow. Both at 7 p.m. Eastern. One is going to be on RPG Limit Break, and the other one will be on Free Enterprise.
It's going to be some really good races. Kedril, Dragus, Pizza, and Invenerable on RPG Limit Break, and then Peasants, Mecha Link, Poidrac, and Big Dunka on Free Enterprise. Make sure you're checking out both those races. It's going to be very good. And with that, it looks like we're going to send y'all on over to Dusty, who was the winner of World Series of Enterprise. So make sure you check him out. He is also competing in Highway to the Zima Zone. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and catch y'all next time.